At the start of the war, many households of reservists have found themselves in financial crisis as businesses and employment suffered due to the lengthy service. While taking out a loan may appear to offer a solution, it can be the start of a dangerous cycle of debt. This according to an organization called Fresh Start, which aims to help families in Israel reach stable financial ground with the help of legal and rehabilitation support. Fresh Start founder and CEO Tomer Rabinowitz told our reporter Naomi Segal that the state should also play a role by steering Israeli households toward financial guidance rather than easing the way toward debt consumption.
We are speaking with advocate Tomer Rabinowitz, CEO and founder of Fresh Start. We're speaking against the backdrop of the rising cost of living, rising prices, and families are struggling to make ends meet. Tell us a bit about Fresh Start and where it comes in this cycle.
So Fresh Start is an Amouta, a social organization, which helps families, middle-class families who got involved in debt. That's what we've been doing before the war. Since the war, we've been mainly helping families of reservists that got into financial crisis because of the war. And since in the past 10 years, maybe even more, we see a very high rise in debt consumption, meaning that because of the high cost of living, people just use loans and debt to just hold their day-to-day life. And we see a very high rise in debt. That means that if 15, 20 years ago, we had about 50 billion shekel total debt of households in Israel, we are now standing at 250 billion debt. That does not include mortgages or business loans, only a loan and a click and everything you can get on your phone. Mm-hmm. And this is where we were at the beginning of the war. Since the beginning of the war, we've seen households and small businesses that collapsed. People who live in Otef Aza or in the north, who had businesses who just stopped operating. We see reservists that left everything and went into war for 300, 400, 500 days. And when they come back, they have no business because all their clients went on. We see people who get out of Miluim and they have no jobs anymore. And all these people, when we go back to normal life, they have to rebuild themselves from scratch. And what we do is we help them get back on their feet, which is not that complicated once you do the right things. The problem is that instead of doing the right things, most people get into get stressed by the banking system and take loans. And the most common solution that we see today for the high cost of living is take a loan to finance your living. And that just doesn't work.
What is the alternative then to manage this? I mean, with regard to the war, we're talking about an extreme situation where perhaps many of these individuals were financially responsible. This was extraneous circumstances. And how do they get out of that?
Well, first of all, those households who were financially stable, very stable before the war, probably went through it without too much damage. The problem is with households that were even or just barely finished their month. And these households, every shock, every financial movement gets them from stability to instability. And then this is where the problem starts, because they get a phone call from the bank telling them there's not enough money in your bank account. How would you like to solve this? And the only solution they offer them is a loan. What we in Fresh Start are doing is we give every family like this a financial advisor or business advisor, depending on the family. And this financial advisor, in a very short and focused process, teaches this family how to work with their money, how to increase their income, how to decrease expenses, how to handle money. Lots of families in Israel don't know how to handle money. And debts are always a symptom to another problem. Either a couple that doesn't talk about money. It could be a business that's not doing its job and not providing the family. It could be a gap in income. One of the parents that doesn't work or doesn't earn enough. And in order to solve that, we have to solve the initial problem, the problem that caused the debt. And with professional guidance, it's easy to solve these problems. We see families who, in a short procedure of 2 to 3 months, manage to double their income by working correctly. And what we believe should be done is that instead of leading people into debt, the state and the banking system and everyone involved should guide people to financial guidance.
This means basic budgeting, looking at income coming in, spending going out, reworking payments if there are payments owed on various loans. What are the main pieces, or how to invest, or how to look for work? It's a broad spectrum.
It starts by knowing what you earn and what you expend. And then making wise decisions about it. I mean, if your income is not enough, then what do you do about it? You get another job. You take your business on another route. You take actions that will close the gap, but instead of taking a loan, of course. And basically what we did, we escorted so far over 400 reservists, thanks to donations by Jewish federations, mainly in the USA, in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, and in other Jewish communities all around the world that supported this project. And we saw hundreds of families that in 2 to 3 months got out of this financial hell and crisis. I mean, you can get them back on their feet very, very easily. And basically, next month, on December 8th, we're going to have a convention dealing just with these problems. The higher cost of living, the private credit, which is a very bad solution, the problem of small businesses and families of reservists. And it's going to be in the Reichman University, and we're going to have all the professionals involved in these solutions, and we're going to try to find the right solutions to these problems, or to present the solutions that we know of to these problems. And hopefully we will see a change in policy by the state, where obviously what we are doing is not something that we should be doing, something that the state should be doing, or at least funding. And we hope that we'll come out of this convention with good news to everyone in Israel who got mixed up in debt.
When you talk about a state policy, are you talking about either some kind of debt forgiveness program, or a broader financial education and literacy program so that people don't find themselves in this kind of predicament to begin with, or overall some kind of economic overhaul to bring down the cost of living and prices?
Naturally, we would love people not to get into these financial complexities, but basically we want to educate people to make the right decision. We believe that every crisis is also an opportunity. It's an opportunity for every family, given that we have a very high cost of living, and that and that it's not going to get better soon. You have to make right decisions. And we think that at that crossroad where families can't make it by themselves, this is where the state should come in and offer a financial rehabilitation program for everyone, instead of giving out loans as if they were candies. Loans, you have to repay them. It's not. People see commercials for loans, and it's all over the place. Even loans with state guarantee, which is something that people hear and they think it's safer to take a state guaranteed loan, and they don't understand that the guarantee is not to them; it's to the bank, meaning that the bank is secured, so he doesn't mind giving the state guarantee, which is something that people hear and they think it's safer to take a state-guaranteed loan, and they don't understand that the guarantee is not to them, it's to the bank, meaning that the bank is secured, so he doesn't mind giving those loans, while they are not secured, and they might lose their jobs, they might lose their businesses, they might lose their homes, they might lose their families. We see people that get mixed up in debt, and couples that get broken apart because of this stress. We see people getting sick because of it, sleepless nights, getting mixed up in a financial crisis is a very unpleasant experience, to say the least. And we expect the state to stop this when it starts, not to let people take one loan after the other until they get into bankruptcy.
Does Fresh Start work primarily with individuals and families who are already in some kind of financial crisis, or do people come preemptively to say, we want to develop good financial habits?
Fresh Start focuses on families who are in any point of the financial crisis. We're not talking about families who just want to work better with their money or to invest, okay? We're looking for families or small businesses who are at a certain point of the crisis. It could be at the beginning of the crisis when we see people who are in Miluim right now, and they know that when they get out of Miluim, they're going to have no income. So we see the crisis coming. That's the best way is, of course, to take care of a crisis before it starts. But we also see people who accumulated debts of hundreds of thousands of shekels, and now they need legal support. So we have business advisors, we have household financial advisors, we have lawyers, and we give a holistic solution to all the economic problems of the household. And we see the whole household and business as a unit. I mean, it's not enough to take care of the business or to take care of one of the couple. We have the whole household is one financial unit, and we have to give solution to all of it, and a sustainable solution that will last on and preferably allow them to pay their debts in total. And if not, if they need if they need legal solutions, then to go to legal solutions, either debt settlement, or bankruptcy. But we believe that financial crisis is really one of the hardest crises that a family could go through. And if a family went through this once, there's absolutely no reason for this family to go through it again, ever in their life. So we don't like returning clients. And we know how to get people out of debt, either at the beginning of the debt or when they're deep into the debt. And the good news is that it's not so complicated to get people out of debt. It requires work, it requires being devoted to this mission, but it's not very complicated once you make the right decisions.
Advocate Tomer Rubinowitz, founder and CEO of Fresh Start. Taking us up to weather and headlines. Return headlines is this song by the Parvarim, Besof Kol Derech, at the end of all the road.